treatment into place. Like I figured when we started it, I don't know, because of the nervous. Yeah, he was like cool as a cat. I didn't know it.
All right, we're gonna get started. I'm Kristina, and I'm not Lisa, but Lisa is finishing up a nice time away, and so I'm subbing for her. But excited to be here. I've known Lisa for a long time. She was part of my teacher training that I did years ago, and I taught at Karma for a long time before taking a break after I had my kid, who's now almost 6, which is pretty wild. She's counting down the days, 13, until she's 6. So anyway, we are going to start. Actually, I'm going to have you lay back on your mats, if that is comfortable for you. Come on. And yeah, blocks are great. Looks like everybody has blocks. If that is available to you, a bolster. I brought straps by as well. But let's just start here on the ground and just find any position that feels good. So knees can be bent, legs can be straight. You can bring the soles of your feet together if you would like. Anything that feels good here. So we'll start our practice with an opportunity to settle and ground. So as you come into this space, I heard Diane kind of take a little bit of a sigh or a breath out. So if that feels good, just maybe letting a big breath, inviting it in through the chest and belly, and maybe letting go through the mouth. Just making any micro movements that feel good here. Sometimes it feels nice to take the head from side to side, massaging the back of the skull. You can always kind of just move around a little bit in the body and just notice how the floor underneath you supports the body. We'll be moving hopefully from the space of feeling grounded and supported. So it's Monday afternoon, the beginning of the week potentially. And so we'll use this time to move a little bit into the bodies, let go of what has come before. Hopefully feeling grounded and just ready to move some oxygen through the body, let the blood flow, move freely as well. So just take a couple more breaths here. Again, just notice, how does the body feel on the earth? Can you soften a little bit more? Maybe that's even noticing, what's my forehead doing? Can I allow my ears to relax a little bit? Is my jaw clenched? Perhaps I can release that slightly. Is there any tension in the neck? Maybe I can breathe some softness into the neck and shoulders. Are my arms feeling relaxed? Can they feel a little heavier on the ground? Is the breath moving freely through the abdomen? And if not, that's okay. We're just noticing. You feeling the weight of the hips on the earth, and the legs and the feet. Just see if you can maybe take a breath and allow them to soften a little bit as well. Good. And then as you're ready, I'll have you, if you're not already, bend your knees so that your feet are flat on the ground, so you're still lying on your back. Knees are bent. We're going to move with the flow of the breath here. So we're going to move in and out of bridge pose, so a dynamic bridge pose with the arms. So on your next inhale, you're going to gently press into the feet, lift the hips, and take the arms up and back behind you. So at the top of your inhale, your hips are lifted and the fingertips are reaching towards the back of the room. And then exhale, slowly start to bring the hips down and the arms down to your sides. Feel the vertebrae lying back out on the mat. Good. All the air is gone, and then you inhale, lift the hips up, press into the feet, let the arms float back behind you. So at the top of your inhale, your arms are resting back behind you, the fingertips pointing to the back of the room. And then exhale, take your hips down slowly and your arms down. Good, let's do that 3 more times at your pace. So inhale, lift the hips. Maybe you lift it enough so you feel a little bit of a stretch on the top of the thighs. And then exhale, release. Good. And 2 more like that. Know that you can always, you take these movements, my suggestions, just as that suggestion. So if it doesn't feel quite right to have the arms moving, you can keep them at your sides. You can decide how far up you reach the hips. We'll take one more round here. Just see if you can find a nice, even breath. Good, let's take one last one. Big inhale, lift up through the hips. And exhale, bring the hips down and the arms down. Good. Now we'll stay here for a moment and then inhale, just lift the hips up this time. So inhale, coming up to an easy bridge. You don't have to push up too hard. And then exhale, we're gonna come back down. Hips hit the floor, hips touch the floor. And then 2 more times. Again, it's just a dynamic bridge. So the arms are staying at your sides. You're lifting the hips up on the inhale. And then on the exhale, hips down. And then one more time, inhale, lift the hips up. And exhale down. Beautiful. I'm going to have you lift the soles of the feet up to the ceiling. Hands back behind you. And again, if this doesn't feel good with the shoulders, you can keep the arms at your sides. You're going to take an inhale, stretch out through the fingertips and out through the heels. So it's like you're trying to put a footprint on the ceiling. And then exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. So at the bottom of your exhale, you're pressing all the air out and hugging the knees closely to the chest. And then inhale, expand back out. So the arms go back behind you, legs go up to the side, to the sky, and then exhale, hug in. Good, let's do that 3 more times. So inhale, we're finding expansion. Exhale, we'll bring the body kind of towards each other and contracting, pushing the air out, maybe even with the strength of the legs. Good. Again, inhale. And exhale again. Good. Last one of these. We're going to inhale, extend the arms and legs one last time. And this time, exhale, hug the right knee into the chest and let the left foot rest on the ground. So the left knee is bent, but you're hugging the right knee in towards the chest. Good. So just take a breath here, pulling that knee in towards the shoulder. Breathe deeply into the belly so you can almost press that right thigh with the abdomen. Let the shoulders relax. Make sure you're not holding any tension in the jaw. Good, take one more breath in. And then on your exhale, you're gonna reach the right leg straight up to the sky and just draw a long line across the ceiling and down the front wall or the windows. Good. Then you're gonna bend that right leg, put the right foot on the ground, and you're gonna hug the left knee in. And I'm hugging it towards the armpit a little bit. Take a few breaths here. Just notice what's going on with the hip. See if you feel any tension maybe in the hip flexor. If you've been sitting for the majority of the day, that might feel a little tight. Hold here. Just taking a few breaths, hugging that knee in towards the chest. Again, relax through the shoulders. Make sure the jaw isn't holding any tension. Beautiful. Take one more inhale. And a full exhale. And then inhale, you extend that left leg up towards the sky. You're going to draw a slow line across the ceiling and down towards the windows in front. Good. Let's let the right leg meet the left. So you have straight legs. You can point the toes and reach the arms back behind you. Full body stretch. Good. We'll do one more dynamic movement here on the ground. So take an inhale, reach out through the fingertips, out through the toes. And then exhale, pull the knees in toward the chest. So very similar to what we did before. Good. But this time, so you can choose. You can either reach the legs kind of straight towards me, or you can reach them up to the sky. Now reaching them closer, kind of hovering them off the ground is a lot more work for the low back and the belly. So you kind of decide what level you want. So on the inhale, you're releasing the legs and extending them either straight up to the sky or maybe at a 45-degree angle or a little lower. And then as you exhale, you're hugging the knees in. There's just 2 more of those. So you can, again, decide if you want to bring kind of the abdominal work into this or not. Really up to you and how your low back and your abdominal are feeling today. Good. One more time. Inhale, extend to whatever degree works. And then exhale, release. Big hug. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Maybe take a little rock side to side. And then as you're ready, you're just going to slowly rock yourself onto your right side, just supporting the head with the right arm. Just take a moment here on the side. Again, feeling the support of the floor underneath you. Just let the body kind of release into this posture. And then as you're ready, nice and slowly, you're going to press into that left hand so that you can ease your way up. We're going to come into a tabletop position. So head is facing me. You're going to have shoulders over wrists and hips over the knees. Maybe if you have blocks, bring them with you towards the front of the mat. So we'll be using them in just a moment. All right. So here in our tabletop, let's first do a little bit of hip hinges here. So all this is you're going to take a deep inhale in your tabletop and then exhale, just guide the hips towards the heels, but it's not a child's pose. You're going to kind of stop with the hips hovering, then you're going to inhale, come back. And it's just this hinge back and forth. The exhale takes you back, the inhale brings you forward. And just move a few times like this. It's just increasing mobility through the hips before we move into a few lunges here. So again, you're finding your breath. The breath is your guide. So as you inhale, moving forward, exhale, moving back. Good. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll come back to tabletop. Let's just do a couple cat-cows here. So inhale, dropping the belly, pull the heart forward. Maybe pulling the palms kind of isometrically or statically towards the knees to open up through the belly and the chest. Then exhale, pull the low belly and round through the spine. Maybe gaze goes towards the thighs or the belly button, finding cat pose. And then again, inhale, cow pose, drop the belly, pull the heart forward. And exhale, round. Okay. Let's do that 3 more times at your pace. Adding any movements that feel good. Feels good to make some circles with the hips, feel free. Just anything the body's kind of asking for as we move through the hips and spine. And then nice. And then when you're ready, come back to our tabletop position. Take the right leg back behind you, and you're going to curl the toes under so that you're kind of balancing on the ball of your foot. And I just want you to move forward and back so you can feel the stretch through the calf, the right calf. And then as you're ready, you're going to inhale, lift the right leg up, and then exhale, take it across the body behind you to the left side, kind of behind your mat, and you're going to gaze towards that back foot. So the idea here is that we feel a side stretch through the right side body. And then see if you can find the breath again. On the inhale, maybe you're pulling air through the nose and kind of sending it to that right hip, the right rib, side of the ribs, the right side of the waist. Good. Nice. And then inhale, we'll come back to center. And then exhale, just bring the knee towards the chest and around the spine. So it's like we're coming into that cat pose. We're bringing the knee towards the nose or towards the chin. And then inhale, kick the leg back. Maybe extend a little bit through the heart. Just gazing right to the front of the mat. And then exhale, round in again, knee towards the nose. Good, one more time. We're gonna kick that leg back. And then this time, as you exhale, bring the knee in towards the chest. We're gonna take that right foot to the front of the mat. So walk it up there if you need to grab that right ankle and move it forward. You can take hands to blocks if you'd like. So we're gonna find this low lunge. Good, so from here, let's take a nice inhale, maybe lift up through the chest, stretching out through the waist. And then exhale, we're gonna bring the hips towards the heels. You can bring the blocks with you if you'd like. And you can flex the front toes. So we're gonna move in and out of this, the stretch through this leg. So inhale into our low lunge. So knee over the ankle, maybe look forward. And then exhale, move back. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, coming into the lunge. And exhale, moving back. And then one more time. Inhale, find a nice lunge here. And exhale, straighten. We're gonna hold here for a moment. So this is, considered half splits. So we're not going to go into splits because this is gentle meditative yoga, splits yoga. But here in this pose, just imagine this right hip is moving back in space. You can even take your right hand, kind of guide it a little bit just to feel a deeper stretch to the back of the leg. So you can sink in with your breath here. So with every inhale, imagine that right hip is moving back behind you a little bit in space, the left heel forward. With every exhale, you just sink a teeny bit deeper. It might be half a centimeter, but you're just imagining that you're getting a little deeper into that stretch. Take another inhale. And exhale. And then inhale, let's come back into our low lunge. So bring the blocks with you. We're going to place the left hand on the block, and then inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky. And we're going to move in and out of this. So what this is going to look like is you're going to take an inhale and sweep the right arm back behind you and take the hips along with you. So just like we straightened the hips before, you're going to round through the hand, kind of tickle the fingertips to the floor, and you're going to shift back into that lunge and inhale, reach the right arm up. So it's this little cycle where we inhale, reach back, the hips shift back, tickle fingertips to the floor, and exhale here. So find the breath that works for you. So you're just taking these circles through the top arm or the right arm and moving the hips forward and back. So whatever breath works here. Really getting into the mobility of the hips. Let's do one more now like that. Good, and then on the next inhale, we're going to stay in the lunge with the right arm up to the sky. Good, and then exhale, take the right hand down. We'll shift the blocks just off the mat for a moment. Take the right foot to the back of the mat. Let's take the knees wide and come back to child's pose. So big toes touch. Forehead can come to the mat, or if you want to bring a block with you, you can put your forehead on the block. Good. And releasing down here into child's pose. The forehead resting on something, it can feel good to take it from side to side. So you can send the breath down into the belly. Almost imagine it swirling around in the hips, targeting any tension that might be there. See if you can find that nice kind of audible breath through the nose as you breathe in. And if it's comfortable, through the nose as you breathe out. Just a slight constriction through the back of the throat, almost like you're trying to fog up a mirror or your glasses, but with the lips closed. That audible breath helps us stay attached to it, like we can hear it, we can feel it. So if your mind starts to wander, just come back to that sound of the breath, moving in and out through the body. Good. Release any tension through the jaw if you can. If you ever notice the jaw's clenching, you can always blow air out through the mouth. Good. Take another inhale. And exhale. And then inhale, let's come back up to tabletop. So find the neutral spot here in tabletop. And now we're going to reach the left foot back behind you. Curl the toes under and kind of balance on the ball of that left foot. And again, maybe find that forward and back movement as you shift your body forward and back to get a nice stretch through the left calf. Good. Then when you're ready, you're going to engage through the core. We're going to lift the left leg up and then cross it over back behind you to the right side of your mat, just beyond it. And if it's comfortable with the neck, gaze towards that left leg or the left foot here. And again, breathing into the left side body now. So with every inhale, send it into the ribs, send it into the left side of the waist. And just notice if the weight in your hands is favoring one side or the other, and just try to center it as best you can, find a little balance there. Good, take another inhale. And exhale. Good, inhale, we'll come back to center. You're gonna float that left leg back behind you. And then exhale, bring the knee in towards the chest and round through the spine. Good, inhale, extend, maybe lift the chest slightly. Exhale, pull the knee in towards the chest. Good, leg extends, inhale. Leg hugs in, exhale. One more time, extend. And then on your exhales, you bring that knee in towards the nose. You're going to take that left foot and guide it towards the front of the mat. Scooch it up there. You can grab your blocks if that worked for you before. And at first, let's just get into this side, see how the right hip flexor feels. Kind of lining the left knee over the left ankle. So walk that front foot up if you need to. Then we'll find our flow here. So inhale, lift up through the heart and the waist, the front part of the waist. And then exhale, we're going to shift back, the hips kind of hovering over that back heel. And then inhale back to your lunge. And exhale, straighten. Good, we'll move through that 3 more times at your pace. Finding the inhale, finding the extension through the chest. And you exhale, the hips start to move back towards the heel. Good. Good, and then one more time. Let's inhale. And this time we'll hold our half splits here. So travel with the blocks if you would like. And again, we're imagining on the inhale, maybe lifting the heart up a little bit and shifting that left hip back in space. And on the exhale, just melting a little bit. And what that could look like is maybe the heart just little by little moving closer to the shin. It can just look like maybe some softening in the muscle, softening in the jaw and the shoulders. Don't let the breath again flow freely. Getting a nice stretch to the back of the left leg. Take one more inhale. One more exhale. Good. Inhales come back into that lunge. I'm going to keep the right hand on the right hand on the block, and inhale with the left arm up. And then we're going to find that little flow again. So on every exhale, we're going to reach back, big circle with the top arm, tickle the fingertips to the floor. And then our inhale finds that left arm moving up. Exhale, circle back, hips move back. Good, inhale. And exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. And exhale. Good, last one, inhale. And exhale. Good, let's take the left hand to the block, find that little lunge again. Take a nice inhale, lift up through the chest. And then as you exhale, just slowly transition yourself back to child's pose again. So knees go wide, fingertips come to touch, forehead resting on something. Good, and then find your breath. And see if you can find that gentle, audible breath in through the nose. Out through the nose. Good. And here again, with the feeling of the support of the earth here, just notice how the body is feeling. Breathing deeply into the spots that might feel a little bit more tense or tight. Good. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll come back up to tabletop on an inhale. And then on an exhale, let's curl the toes under, lift the hips up and press back to down dog. If down dog doesn't feel right for you today, feel free to go back to child's pose. Again, these are all suggestions here. Maybe walk out your down dog a little bit by bending opposite knees. And taking the movements that feel right here. Stretching the hips up towards the sky. There's still a soft bend in the knees. The heels are energetically moving towards the ground. They don't need to get there. That's just the direction that they're moving. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Release through the neck here. Sometimes we hold this pose more rigidly, but let's use this pose as an opportunity to find some relaxation and a beautiful stretch through the spine. Good, let's take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, we're just going to slowly walk ourselves towards the front of the mat. Good. Let's take the feet at least hip distance, if not that distance apart, and find a forward fold. You can grab opposite elbows if you would like, or let the hands hang, or put the hands on blocks. Rolling the weight slightly towards the balls of the feet. Not enough so that the heels come off, but just want to have a little bit of forward momentum here. Maybe shake the head yes and no. And even though we're pretty released through the torso and relaxed here, the legs are still strong. So you can imagine that you're rolling the inner thighs kind of in and back, almost like you have a block that you're hugging between the legs. Good, take another inhale. Then exhale, release the hands. On the next inhale, let's take the hands either to the shins or to the thighs and find a half lift. So just straightening through the spine, crown of the head reaching towards the front of the room. And then exhale, release. Let's do that again. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, release. Good. Inhale, bend the knees deeply. And on an exhale, we're going to roll up one vertebra at a time. So exhale, 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 letting all the air go. When you need to inhale, you're going to reach the arms wide and high. And exhale, hands to heart center. And if it's comfortable, just blink the eyes closed for a moment. And now feel the support of the feet on the earth. So before we had a lot more of our body on the ground, and now it's just the feet. See if you can find a little stability here, even if there's some rocking back and forth, that's okay. Imagine the crown of the head is reaching nice and tall through the sky, towards the sky. Shoulders are rolling back. Chest is slightly lifted to meet the thumbs. Take an inhale. Exhale, drop the hands, blend over the eyes. Let's inhale, sweep the arms wide and high. Look up. And then on the exhale, bend the knees deeply. If you like, you can swan dive down, but with a nice deep bend in the knees. Inhale, find our half lift, hands to shins or thighs. And then exhale, release. Inhale here to prepare. And then exhale, roll up. So we're going to roll up on the exhale. Exhale, exhale. When you're done exhaling, you need to inhale, sweep the arms wide and high, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center and close the eyes gently. Now let's blink the eyes open if you need to. Take an inhale, grow through the heart just a little bit. Let the crown of the head reach. Good, exhale, release the hands, blink the eyes open. Inhale, sweep wide and high. And then exhale, deep bend the knees as you fold forward. Good, inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Have the blocks ready if you need them. Our next inhale, we're going to take the right foot to the back of our mat. Okay, so now we're in a kind of a high lunge here. You can always drop the back knee. We're going to do something very similar to what we did before with the knee down, so please feel free to adjust as needed. Okay, so first let's get into this lunge. Roll the shoulders back and just feel a little stretch through the heart as you inhale. And then exhale, we're going to straighten the front leg. So just as before, if you want to bring the blocks back with you, you can. On the inhale, you bend. Exhale, straighten. Good, inhale, bend. And exhale, straighten. Beautiful. Let's take that 2 more times. Inhale, bending, the knee is lining up over the ankle on the top of the inhale. Exhale, hips lift up and back. And then again. And exhale. Beautiful. This time, let's bend. And then we're going to exhale and hold. Now, in this position, I actually like to hop my back foot forward a little bit so that my back heel can come on the ground. So my left foot is pointing straight ahead. My right toes are pointing to the right upper corner of the mat. So now we're more in pyramid pose. And now here you can do a few things. You can just hang here and breathe. Or if you'd like to do a little breath and movement on the inhale, you'll come up on the blocks and find a flat back. And exhale, fold. So it's that same rhythm. As we inhale, we extend and expand through the spine. And as we exhale, we release and fold. Do that 3 more times. Okay, finding a nice full breath. Imagining that left hip moving back in space. Just to elongate that left leg even further. Beautiful. 1 more inhale. And exhale. Good. So start to gently bend the front knee so that you can get that back foot back a little bit so you're in your lunge. Again, know that for this next piece, you can always come back down to your knee. We're gonna do that same rotation that we did before with the arm. So we're gonna lift the left arm up, inhale, and then exhale, we'll circle it back. You might need to bend the back knee, and inhale, lift. And if that doesn't feel quite right, you can ditch it and not do the circles. You can drop your back knee. So what we're doing here is we're just building a little bit of heat, but I don't want it to compromise your breath. So if it is, then just find a more static version or drop down to the back knee. Good, one last time, big circle. Good, inhale, lift the left arm up to the sky. Good, and then exhale the left hand down. Or take the blocks to the side, take an inhale. And then exhale, find down dog or child's pose, up to you. We'll be here for a few breaths, so if at any point you want to go to child's pose or transition to down dog, it's up to you. Find the breath. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Good. If you're in child's pose, I'll have you meet us in down dog. Just take your time. And as you're ready, on an inhale, you stretch the hips back. And then on the exhale, bend your knees and start to slowly walk yourself to the front of the mat. So find that nice wide forward fold. You give you hip distance apart or even mat distance apart of the head and neck plane. We've been doing a lot of inversions here, which can be relaxing, but sometimes can also feel a lot. So if you feel some pressure in the head, you can always bring your hands up to blocks, or you can always transition it to a standing position as well. Good. All right, take a deep inhale and exhale. On the next inhale, let's find a half lift. So again, hands to the shins or to the thighs. And exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees deeply. And then exhale, we're gonna roll up. Exhale, exhale, exhale. When you're ready, you're gonna inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Eyes can be open or closed, whatever feels best. So you can see if you can drop down into the heels, into the feet. So feeling rooted through the ground, but still feel like your spine is growing long up towards the ceiling. Good, take an inhale. Exhale, release the hands to your sides. Inhale, sweep the arms wide and high. Exhale, deep bend in your knees, you forward fold. Good, inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. We're going to take the blocks back. And now you're going to take the left foot back. We're going to find that lunge again. I'm going to know where we're going here, so if you decide, I'd rather be on my knee, like I'll drop to the back, please do. But let's find this high lunge first. So feeling a stretch through the left hip flexor, lining up the right knee over the right ankle. Let's take a deep inhale. Then exhale, we're going to shift the hips. Again, you can walk the blocks back if you'd like. So move with your breath. Inhale, finding your lunge. Exhale, finding the hips moving up towards the back behind you. Maybe a nice stretch to the front leg. And just keep moving with your breath here. If you've lost that audible breath, maybe bring it back. In through the nose with a slight constriction of the toes. Out through your nose. Now you can always shift and breathe in and out through your mouth, or in through the nose and out through your mouth as well. Important thing is that the breath is moving. Good, last one here, let's find our lunge on an inhale. And then exhale, we're going to straighten and hold. Again, you're going to hop that back foot forward a little bit so that the back heel can be on the ground. Left toes pointing towards the top left corner of the mat. kind of energetically shift that right hip back into space. Then if you want the flow, it's inhale, kind of lifting up through the chest a little bit, and exhale, folding. Or you can just stay folded over the front leg you decide. So just flowing here with the movement is flowing with the rhythm of the breath. Let's do one more round. Inhale. And exhale. Good. As you're ready, you're going to bend the front knee a little bit, and you're going to transition that left foot to the back of the mat, so you're going to be in a high lunge. You can always drop the back knee if you like. We're going to find that movement with the breath. So inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, we're going to circle back. Maybe take the hips with you. So as you tickle the fingertips to the floor, and then inhale, lift. And exhale. Inhale. Extend, exhale. Just do that one more time. Inhale, lift up through the right arm. Exhale, one more circle. Good. Inhale, lift the right arm up to the sky. Good. And then exhale, you're going to plant the hands. Again, you can transition either into down dog or child's pose. I'm going to take 3 breaths here, and then we're all going to meet in child's pose. So you can decide if you'd like the down dog. Stretching up through the hips and down through the heels, elongating through the calves. Maybe nodding the head yes, shaking the head no. If you're in child's pose, maybe taking the forehead side to side. Good, take a deep inhale. And then exhale, let's drop down to the knees. Coming into child's pose. So knees wide, big toes come to touch. Good, maybe rolling out through the wrists. Good. Let's find a little side stretch here. So on your inhale, come onto the fingertips and lift up through the torso. And as you exhale, just walk the hands over to the left. And you can decide what you want to do with your head. Resting your head on something can be a little bit more relaxing. So if you want to bring your block with you and rest your head on your block, feel free. Otherwise, you can let the head hang, or you could bring it down towards the ground. But just like we did with the leg kind of back behind us, you're breathing into the right side body. With every inhale, you're imagining that the ribs are kind of profusing or opening with your oxygen as you inhale. And then releasing a little bit of hold if you're holding somewhere on the exhale. Again, just check in with the jaw, make sure you're not holding tension there. Let's take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Good, then inhale, we're going to come through center and go to the other side. So if you like the block, bring it with you. You're going to stretch the arms over to the right. Keep the hips still kind of lined over the heels. And let the head rest. Either floating on the floor on a block. Good. Breathing into the left side body. Almost imagining that you're stretching from the left armpit all the way down to the left hip. Every inhale, bringing air and oxygen into that space. Every exhale, finding a little bit of softening. Good. Let's take one more inhale here. And one more exhale. Good. And here we're going to come to center. I'm going to have us sit on our heels. We'll do a little bit of upper body stretching. So if sitting on your heels doesn't feel good, you can sit cross-legged. You can always sit on a blanket if that feels good. We won't be here for too long, but I want you to be comfortable. If you have a bolster and you want to sit on that, you can do that as well. All right, so let's just start here, maybe rolling the shoulders back a few times. Good. All right, and let's start. We're going to take the arms out to a T. And then exhale, take the right arm underneath the left and find eagle arms. So if you can wrap the hands around so that palms are touching, that's great. Otherwise, the back of the palms can be together. And then you're going to inhale, lift up through the elbows, imagining they're lifting up and away from you. And then on the exhale, start to pull them down, pull the shoulders away from each other and start to curl. So I want you to feel a nice big stretch between the shoulder blades. We're going to stay here in this little bit of a fold. So it's almost like your elbows are reaching down towards your belly button. You're pulling the elbows towards each other. You're pulling the shoulders down. Just find a couple deep breaths here. And then gently on your next inhale, you'll come back up and separate the arms. Maybe find a cactus here as you inhale. And then exhale, we'll take the opposite arm. So left arm underneath, wrapping around, finding your kind of eagle arms here. Inhale, lift the elbows up and away. And then exhale, curl down. So once you're in your kind of your fold, you're working to pull the elbows towards each other and pull the shoulders down. Just breathe into the back body here. Take another inhale. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper here. Good, and inhale, you'll separate the arms, reach them up overhead, interlace the fingers, and just find a big stretch here. So stretching up through the arms, if it feels good, maybe stretch a little side to side. Good. Take one more inhale. And our last stretch here for the arms, we're going to take the hands back behind and just grab opposite elbows. And if you do that and that feels mild, you can feel free to do reverse prayer, so bringing your palms together, that's up to you. But with the elbows, with the hands at the elbows, we're rolling the shoulders back, lifting up through the heart. And take a soft gaze in front of you or close the eyes. See if you can focus the breath into the chest. So with every inhale, imagining it going into your nose, opening up through the heart and the upper lungs. So just take 3 breaths here, but just focus on the action of the chest here. As you inhale, maybe you feel it slightly elevate or expand. Exhale, you might feel it descend slightly or contract a little bit. Let's do that one more time. Beautiful. All right, let's release through the hands. Have you come onto your bums, and we're going to take the legs, do a kind of a wide-legged position here. So you can always sit on a bolster or a block if that feels, or a bolster or your blanket. You're going to elevate the hips. I'm going to take the legs wide here. Have a block nearby. What this is going to look like at first, let's just take the hands back behind, point the fingers back behind you, and just press into your hands to lift up through the heart. Just one more chance for a heart opener here. Flexing the toes up towards the sky if that feels okay with the knees. Good, we're taking an inhale here. And then on your exhale, we'll take the hands forward and start to just forward fold as best as you can. I have a lot of tightness in my inner thighs and hip flexors and hips, so I don't go too far, but that's why I like the blocks. Sometimes I'll even stack 2 and put my head on it. So again, anytime you can balance or rest your forehead on something, it can help encourage a little deeper relaxation. I love the blocks with a bolster on top too. So the point here is really getting this nice inner thigh stretch, but also an opportunity for some relaxation in the forward folds. So even though we're releasing the upper body, the legs are still engaged. You're still imagining that the knees are kind of rolling and pointing up towards the ceiling, flexing the toes back. And again, if that feels at all uncomfortable with the knees, you can release the flex of the feet. Good. Let's just take a few more breaths here. So any forward folds, stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, so it allows us to, it's kind of our rest and digest system. So these kinds of poses are really good after a long day. It's good before bed. Good, take another inhale and exhale. And then really slowly roll up. Before you move on to the next thing, as you come up, maybe just pause and see how you feel. Just kind of notice if anything feels like it's slowing down a little bit. And then we're going to do a little bit of kind of a one side stretch. So I gave everybody a strap. I'll bring you. You have a strap. Okay. So if you want a strap, this is kind of a nice place to have it. Because what we'll do is this, I'll give you a couple options. If you would like the strap, you're going to take the strap over the foot, and the stretch is going to look like this. With every inhale, you lift. With every exhale, you fold. So that can be number one. If you want the extra relaxation, again, I kind of love the block balance game. And so again, and if you have to ditch the strap to do this, then you can. But if you want, you can also kind of find a balance here. I've done this at home. And maybe that's a little too, maybe that doesn't work as well. But regardless, we're finding a stretch. So you'll notice, like, let's say if we're going to go to our left foot first, you might notice the right hip moving up a little bit. So that just means we're going to take the stretch a little less intense so I can keep the right hip on the ground. So our goal here is just to square our shoulders towards the left foot, and then you go towards that however you want. If you want to use the strap, feel free. If you want to, find blocks and blankets so that you can, or bolsters so that you can rest your head on something, you can. Or if you want to stay even more elevated, you can just take your hands, frame that leg, and stay right here. So whatever feels good. We'll take about 5 rounds of breath here. Stretching through the hamstring and the calf. Good. And see if you can find that deep breath again. And even that audible breath. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. Find a little bit of length on the inhale, a little bit more release on the exhale. Good. On your next inhale, you'll slowly roll up. Again, kind of find that pause at the top. You take your hands to your sides again and just notice. And as you're ready, we'll transition to the right leg. So again, if you want the strap to come with you, if you want to bring a block, whatever feels best. Notice if that left hip wants to creep up, and just lessen the intensity of the stretch so you can keep the left hip down. Squaring the shoulders towards that right leg as best as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And the objective here is to get a nice stretch to the back of the right leg and to breathe easily. So if at any point your stretch becomes so intense that the breath doesn't move freely, you can just back off the stretch a little bit. Maybe find the place where you notice the breath moving. It could be through the nostrils, it might be in the chest or the belly. Just focus your attention there. And a gentle expansion on the inhale, and a gentle contraction or release on the exhale. Let's take another deep inhale. And a complete exhale. Slowly on an inhale, roll yourself up. And then as you're ready, you'll just bring the legs, bend them, bring them towards you. I'll just have you shift so that you can lay down with your heads facing me. So we're gonna end on our backs. Have your props nearby. You might want the bolster close. You might want your blanket close. So we did some work in those lunges on the hips. So let's do a figure 4 to get kind of stretched deeply into the hip muscles here. So once you're on your back, just bend the knees and let your knees knock together. So you're going to take your feet mat distance apart and let your knees rest. It's like a really neutral pose for the low back and the sacrum. Just kind of a nice way to start to let the muscles around the hip joints let go a little bit. And here we are with our backs on the earth again. Just feel the support of the floor underneath you. And then when you're ready, you'll just kind of walk your feet so that they're parallel to each other. You're going to cross the right leg over the left knee. And you can stay right here in this figure 4, or you can lift the left leg towards you and interlace the hands behind the left thigh. And you decide the intensity of this stretch. So if you'd like, you can pull the legs towards you, and you can use your right elbow to kind of guide the right knee away from you, or the right leg away from you. Just find a spot where you can feel a stretch into the right hip. Always feel free to take kind of micro movements or bend or kind of roll on the back just slightly. Even a slight move of the legs left or right can change the nature of the stretch. So find a good spot for yourself. We've got effort in the arms as we're pulling the legs towards us, and there's some effort in the legs as we're flexing both feet. But the shoulders are pretty relaxed, the face and jaw is relaxed, belly's relaxed. Just breathe easily here. Let's take another full inhale. On your exhale, maybe pull those legs a little bit closer. Good. Let's take the left foot to the ground, take the right foot next to it. Let's do a little windshield wiper before we move to the other side. So just take the knees from side to side. Windshield wiping motion here. You might feel a nice massage on the muscles that surround the hips and the sacrum. Kind of using the motion and the floor underneath you as a way to massage those muscles. Good. And then when you're ready, you'll cross the left foot up over the right knee. And if you would like, if you did it on the other side, if it works on this side, you can interlace the hands back behind the right thigh. Again, pulling those legs towards you to whatever degree feels good. And then if you would like, you can use that left elbow to press the left leg away. Maybe gently moving the legs from side to side to see if you find a different or deeper, more satisfying stretch. Again, just do a little inventory of any tension that might be showing up here. So maybe again, starting from the scalp, imagine you can move the ears back towards the floor a little bit, soften through the face, the jaw relax, neck and shoulders relax, the belly relaxes as well. Good. Let's take 2 more breaths here. take one more deep inhale. Maybe pull the legs a little closer on the exhale. We'll release the legs. And one more time, just doing that windshield wiper motion. As slow as you want. You can kind of hang out in one spot if that feels like it feels good to maybe take the knees to one side. Feel free. Before we move into our final relaxation, I invite you to take any movements or stretches that feel good. You could lift the legs up, you could put a block under the hips and rest in supported bridge pose. Take the soles of the feet together. Some people like happy baby or a spinal twist, whatever feels good. And as you start to think about moving into Shavasana, most of you have bolsters, and it can be nice for the low back to rest, to put your bolster under your knees. So if you would like to do that, feel free. If you want to place your blanket over your belly, that can feel grounding. Whatever you need to feel cozy and comfortable here. And while you're in Shavasana, I'll offer a little forehead rub or adjustment, I guess, just to encourage deeper relaxation. If you don't want me to rub your forehead, just give me a little wave, and I will leave you be. Awesome. Otherwise, find your spot where you can really release back to the ground, doing all the things that we've done since the beginning of our time together, releasing the body, releasing the muscles down towards the floor, feeling the support of the earth underneath you, doing a gentle and compassionate scan through the body to see if there's any areas that you'd like to bring some breath and awareness to. Deepen your breath. Now some gentle movements back into the bodies, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, rotating wrists and ankles. It feels good, maybe taking the head from side to side. And as you're ready, you're finding a full body stretch if that feels good. It's taking the arms overhead, stretching the toes in front of you towards the wall. Just taking a full body stretch, and then bringing the knees in towards the chest and gently rolling onto one side. Taking a moment here to send your body some gratitude for finding time on a Monday afternoon to practice yoga. Sending your body some appreciation for all the things it does for you. And then as you're ready, just slowly press into the earth to find your way into a seated position. Any seated position that works. Sit up nice and tall. As you're ready, just close by taking a big inhale and let's sweep the arms wide and high. Look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, big breath as you take the arms wide and high. And exhale. And on our last one, inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Namaste. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Lisa will be back next week, or this week, but come back and check her out if you haven't before. She was amazing.